Hi, it's Professor Kishbaugh here. I'm doing an impromptu podcast episode. Looking back at my current podcast episodes, they are extremely dated. 2 or 3 years ago, some of them are. And when I created this podcast episode on thinking like a leader and acting like a leader, I had many books at my disposal, many management books. I'm the person who collected anything that said management or leadership on it. But now at this point, after 2 hurricanes hitting our area back in 2024, I have no books. So I have learned that's okay. It's kind of a sad story. I lost everything. However, I do not buy paper copy books anymore. I prefer digital copies or even Audible. I have an Audible subscription, and now I can actually listen to these books when I'm driving in my car or running or doing other things. And I've saved a lot on space in my house. So most of us are working. Some of us are working from home part-time. Some are still working from home full-time. So it really is a time saver. But that's okay. Moving forward, I really just wanted to do a quick update on this podcast subject, which is qualitative traits. We all know quantitative traits. Those are things that we can measure specifically. Like, does someone come to work on time? Is someone turning in their reports on time? We can even look at a risk analysis sheet to see how effective our employees are. But the qualitative part of leadership is the stuff that we really still need to pay attention to. So regardless of what is going on in the business environment, to be a better leader in our management and business, whether you have a business or you run your own business or you work for a large organization, leadership comes down to these qualitative traits. And these, as we mentioned before, are things like self-confidence. Are you able to articulate? Are you a good person for speaking the things that you need to speak? Can you speak up for yourself? Can you communicate well with others? Are you determined? Trustworthy? These are things that are qualitative traits that are not as easy to measure as the ones that we can see on paper. These are traits that need to be observed. So going back to that human behavior subject, which we're all talking about now because of the changes in AI has now made it extremely efficient to review items. I can even go in now and review a book very quickly with the help of AI, whichever generative program I'm using, and it can give me an evaluation of these books. I still like to read. I still have Audible. I still like to get involved. I have my Harvard Business Review delivered to my house. These are things that I think are still important. However, if we're at a position where we can get some kind of review of something, that just helps make it easier for me as a professor to determine what I would like to share with my students. So you're going to have this worksheet for your assignment. I'd like you to take a look at it. Tell me which ones that you feel are more quantitative or qualitative. So there's no right or wrong answer. You're just going to fill in this worksheet. You're going to upload the worksheet, and then you're going to also do the survey that just gives us an idea of how you feel about qualitative and quantitative traits. So from a perspective of a leader, we really need to be that person who can drive our employees or our followers, our subordinates, to be just the best that they can be at these traits. When we're looking at job applications and you're looking on LinkedIn and you see these job openings and they say things like must work well with others, must have confidence, must be empathetic. What is empathy? Okay, these are the things that we're looking at now in leadership. We've always known that leaders have these tools. We've already established that. But what does that mean now for the future? What does that mean now that we're moving into a lot more generative AI? And AI is doing a lot of the thinking for us. So if AI is doing the thinking for us, what can we do now? What human element do we bring to the table So I want you to take a look at this sheet. Tell me which one you think. You can just mark in there. There's a sample worksheet that's loaded. And I want you to just take a look at that. Fill that in. When you prepare for your leader interview, keep these things in mind also. When you're speaking to your leader, observe traits like, are they empathetic? Are they confident? And I guarantee you're going to find a lot of the answers to those are yes. But then I want you to kind of, if you can feel like you can observe something that maybe wouldn't be on paper or wouldn't be available AI, something that you can't find on the internet, observe that individual and determine what those qualitative traits are also.